And welcome back to the afternoon session at the Crucible between these two veritable foes. I'm joined now by Mr. Adam Waterfield, who has taken his time out to join us today, and we observe the toss now, and it seems that it's gone to the senior of the two. How are you, Adam?
Oh, very well indeed, thank you.
So tell me, what was it like? You know, we're going back to 1987 now, thinking about the last time that you were in one of these title bouts. Can you tell us, how do you think the game's changed since then?
Well, I think the game is essentially the same. I mean, I think that maybe the characters aren't quite as they were in those days. I mean, we used to have a good crack, which I think now they have to be a little bit more professional. You know, with everyone's got a camera on their phone. You've got to behave yourself, or I guess where we used to get away with it.
Yeah, no, I understand totally. It's a good job that we don't have to adhere by those rules up in here, do we?
Absolutely.
I'll drink to that.
Me too.
So, we see the break now, and it's not left him in the greatest of positions, but we'll see how he gets out of it. Oh, and that's not a great shot.
I think he left that a little bit short.
Yes, I think so as well. Do excuse me, I just got back from the lunch trolley. It's great, I've got a cheese and chutney sandwich here.
Oh, very nice. Well, I'm quite lucky. You know, we've been coming here a good number of years, and the nice thing about the guest house that I stay in, I've been going there for probably 15 years now, and Gladys, who runs it, she looks after me really well. Not only did she give me a pack up, and I'll come on to that in a minute. She just does those little special things for my breakfast every morning, which and I don't get that at home.
Oh yes. Oh no, you get treated like royalty here at the Crucible, don't you?
You do indeed, yeah.
So tell me, lunch of choice.
Well, I'm an egg and cress man myself.
Egg and cress.
Yeah, I mean, in the confines of this studio, I might regret it a little bit later, but no, I do like a big egg and cress.
No, fair enough. I mean, you can't beat it for blandness of flavour. It's absolutely wonderful. But I find I'm very lucky. This is a customised sandwich that I get from the lunch trolley because I put in my request on a Monday, and by Wednesday they've got everything sorted for you. It's amazing. But I am a big fan of the cheese and chutney. I think it's the sweetness offset by the fat content in the cheddar. It makes it a perfect balance on wholemeal bread with a nice crust.
Oh, lovely. Can't beat it.
Oh dear. Let's see how they're getting on. Looks like he's going to split them. Oh, and that was a nice pot, and he's put it on the black perfectly. Let's see how he takes this one on.
He's showing a bit of form now.
Oh, that's a bad miss.
Oh, I think he might live to regret that.
We'll see where that takes him as the senior approaches the table again. Anyway, what was I saying?
Oh, it's sandwiches, yeah. I'm going to crack mine open in a while, but I've still got a little bit of indigestion from breakfast. I mean, she knows what she's doing, but kippers are... When you don't have kippers every day, it can be a bit of a thing.
No, I get you, definitely. So, I don't know about you, but I was struggling this morning myself. The traffic on the way in through Sheffield was a nightmare. I had a driver, luckily, because I've been doing this now for, 12, 13 years. But But it was absolutely shocking on the ring road. Trying to get into town, I stay in a little cottage just outside of Sheffield. It's beautiful. You get a beautiful view over the hills, but it's absolutely nightmarish trying to get in. First thing when you've got hordes of people vying to go and see some of their favorite people. This is a town, a city that is absolutely devoted to the sport. It's quite incredible from the universities, from the student halls, all the way through to the working men's clubs. This city lives for snooker.
Oh, it does. It does. I mean, I made that. I used to make that mistake of. I mean, it's beautiful out on the Peak District, but that traffic in the morning can be a nightmare. So that's why I've chosen that little guest house Gladys runs. Not the smartest. It's not a 5-star, but it's just a walk in for me. It's 10 minutes. Whatever the traffic's doing, I know it's going to be 10 minutes from leaving the door to getting here. Nice just a little walk past Bramall Lane. I mean, you talk about sport. Cool, they love their football here as well.
Oh, that's true. I mean, you do know that Sheffield Wednesday are reported as the first football club in England. If you knew that.
I didn't know that. I mean, Gladys is a blade, so she won't let me talk about the owls, but if you're from Sheffield, you're a blade or you're an owl.
That's true. That's very true. Where would you say you settle yourself between the two?
Well, I suppose just because I've got to know Gladys very well, I guess I'm a blade.
I would say there's no problem with that. You got to please the help, don't you? Got to please them.
Yeah, got to please the little lady. You know what's if you know what's good for you. You stay on the right side.
No, exactly. Oh dear. Now, how are we doing here? Now let's see. It's been a slow old frame so far, hasn't it? I think there might be a little bit of a hangover coming off the lunch. Maybe they've been sampling from the same tray as me.
That could be. Yeah, that Ward's bitter, Sheffield's finest.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, it looks to me that there is a slight edge being led by the senior here. But we're not entirely sure. We've had a bit of an issue with the scoreboard at the moment, so we can't tell you for certain who is in the lead, which admittedly is pretty poor form from the Crucible, but these things happen, and I'm sure you'll forgive us. We'll get back to you on that ever so shortly.
It reminds me that I was at Test match last summer, and the score, they've got one of these newfangled electronic scoreboard.
Yeah.
All singing, all dancing, run on the computer. Of course, they had a power cut, didn't they? I thought nobody had an idea what the score was. I thought, the good old days, you'd either pull down your canvas roller with the numbers on, or you'd flick over your plastic numbers. Whatever they say, not all advances are for the good of the game, I don't think.
Oh, I know. I mean, I've heard of rain stopped play, but power cut stopped play in a game of cricket. I mean, it's ridiculous. I used to play, bound round the back of a working men's club just down the road from where I grew up. It was very simple. It wasn't even an even pitch, but we didn't need that. We just had a book. We had the bartender. It wasn't very busy when the cricket was on. Most people were in the back garden watching it. So he'd come and take score and leave, I think, his son to do the pints behind the bar.
Some of that friendly cricket, I used to enjoy that. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of beer was supped on those afternoons, I can tell you. I ain't getting on with your sandwich anyway.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Making me hungry.
Oh, would you like a bit?
Oh, I think I will actually. actually got. Well, no, I'll tell you what. I'm going to start with my egg, but if you can just save me a bit of cheese, you know, I'm a bit old-fashioned that way. You know, egg or fish as a starter, and then meat as the main, and cheese at the end. Cheese for afters.
And where do you sit with crisps? Go on, have a crisp.
Oh, I love them. Yeah, I think. Oh, right. Oh. That cheese, no.
No, salt and pepper.
I've never heard of salt and pepper. I've heard of salted crisps. Do you remember the days when you used to get? I mean, the variety of crisps you get now. So I mean, it's unbelievable. When I was young, seriously, you got crisps. They weren't even salted. They came in a bag, and you just got that little blue bag of salt. I'm not simple, but good pleasure.
Yes, you've just got a little bit of cheese on your top there.
Oh God, yes, I have.
No worries. It happens to the best of us. Anyway, let's see. What are we looking at? The game is starting to tighten up. We're seeing less balls on the table, and that brings up another memory. Have you ever been to the Working Men's Club in Woodford?
I can't say that I have.
Well, there was an excellent time. Must have been about 14, 15 years ago, and there was a very old fellow that had come in, and he's an avid snooker player, has been since a young age. He's quite famous around the local area, but basically, he came in, and it was a very hot summer's day, and he'd been gardening, and he just fancied a pint, but unfortunately, he was in his gardening shorts, and so when he leaned over the table to go and play his shot, we found 2 new pink balls that are just outside the pocket.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm glad to say we don't get that in the Crucible.
No, long trousers are mandatory ever since 1967.
I do like the tradition. A lot of standards have slipped, and you know, while we say they're not the characters, they do respect the tradition of, you know, they still wear the formal wear, and I think that shows, you know, it's a gentleman's game.
Well, it's not really snooker without it, is it?
No.
If you think about it, I mean, what really constitutes snooker? Now, you would say maybe on a different level, you know, when you're at the snooker halls across the country, you don't have to dress up quite as much, but, you know, in front of an audience such as today, I think it's important. I think it's very important that we keep up tradition, and, you know, it's a fantastic spectacle for really all the family, and I think they love acting up to it too.
Oh, they do. I tell you what, I think maybe what's been lost a little bit, and you know that people will say that I'm old-fashioned and that, you know, I need to move with the times and, you know, think a little bit about my health, especially at my age. But I didn't ever see any problem with the smoking. I mean, you know, when I was playing, you know, not only were you allowed to smoke in the crowd, but, you know, I always had one on the go when I was playing, and you know, I don't think it did any harm.
No, but I imagine the umpires are probably a bit annoyed having to clean ash off the felt every so often. You know, I look at the table that I've got at home, and it's terrible. There are so many small burn marks, and really, I do think it is good for the game that they've gotten rid of that. It's filthy habit.
Oh, you be careful what you say. Remember who's sponsoring us?
Oh, well, yes. Sponsors of today's programming are Benson and Hedges and the wonderful Newcastle Brown Ale.
God bless them. So what's happening now?
Where are we at?
Oh, we've still got a couple of reds to go. But,
Here we go. Let's see how he dispatches of
I can
this.
see. Ooh, do you know what? I was expecting him to clear the table from that. I don't. You know. I think that.
Here comes the junior. Is he going to salvage it? Ooh, I think that was a clean miss there.
I think it was, and you know what? That does surprise me because although the old pro, he's a wily old thing, and experience has got him this far. You have to admit that the youngsters he's got the form and he's got the fitness.
But I think with that he carries a certain amount of arrogance. You can see that he's definitely performing for the crowd. I mean, this morning he was absolutely on fire. I think he took three frames in a row, which was unprecedented form, especially against his opposition. We've not seen, I think, 3 consecutive frames conceded since his debut bout. So to pick up those kind of crucial points that early on in the competition is it's really something. But he has certainly let his standards slip this afternoon.
Yeah, it ain't over till it's over.
Ooh, but that won't do him any favours.
I don't think the fat lady's going to sing just yet.
I tell you what, she's been holding her tongue for quite some time in this frame.
She has. Let's have a look.
Oh, no, he's just gesticulating over that shot. I'm not really sure what he's trying to do here.
Ooh.
Oh dear, that's a bad miss.
I don't think he was trying to do that.
No.
Anyway, I was saying about this smoking. Where do you stand on it? I mean, my mother smoked 70 a day for 60 years. Didn't do a bit of harm. I think there's too much mamby-pamby political correctness these days.
And does she still smoke today?
No. God bless her. She died of lung cancer 2 years ago.
Oh, that is a shame. But it could be worse. I mean, I have a terrible alcoholic as a father. He sometimes can't remember the day of the week. It's really, really shocking. Which brings me on to, I had the most wonderful glass of red last night with my dinner.
Oh, yeah. What was it? New World? Old World?
It was, I think it was Spanish.
Oh, yeah. I'd say that sort of spans. I always think of Italy and obviously France as being old world, whereas new world, you're Californian and you're Australian and you're South African, Chilean.
Do they make wine?
Oh yes, yeah. They use a lot of the French grapes. I mean Merlot, Chilean Merlot. It's not quite as sophisticated as the French Merlot, but if you're looking for a good wine with a meal, and I do like a nice wine with a meal. You can't go far wrong with a good Chilean Merlot.
I'll tell you what I like. A white wine.
Oh yeah, there's a time and a place. I think with a nice bit of fish, nice dry white wine, and actually there's one. That's one area where I'm quite happy to move away from France. I like my French reds, my clarets, my maroons, my some nice reds. But no, if I'm having a white, it doesn't have to be a French wine. I mean, you get some nice white Burgundy, and see, I'm not a great fan of the northern French white wines. You go up to the Alsace, they start getting a bit sweet for me. You've got you've got that sort of German influence. You've got I've never been a fan of the Riesling or the Hock or any of those sort of German sweet white wines, but I think I'll move away from France on some wines. I like to think of myself as a traveller when it comes to wines. There's a little region of Italy where they've got some nice Pinot grape down there, and get a really really good Pinot Grigio from just that little bit of the northeast Italy around Venice, and takes a lot of beating. Oh yes.
I think they sometimes mix it and they call it rosé.
No, you see, that's a classic mistake. People think that they make rosé just by getting any old red and any old white and mixing them together.
I mean, that's how I do it.
Oh, you're making a big mistake there. It's not like a painting, It's got to be done from first principles. The best rosés and for rosés I do move back to France. I have to say, I think the Anjou region is probably one of the best for rosés, as far as I'm concerned. And maybe go a little bit to the south, and maybe a Côte de Provence, but where you've got the good sun on those south-facing, arid, dry hills.
Oh, that's a bad miss.
Oh. Now.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, don't worry. Well, actually, we've finished the reds. He's still on the white, and the pinks to come. So it all comes back to snooker. Every aspect of life comes back to snooker in one way or another.
You're very right there. Oh.
Oh, there we go. There goes your mixture of red and white. It's just put it in the pocket. That's 6 away.
Hmm.
I heard some fantastic bird song on my walk in this morning.
Oh, did you? What's that? Kestrel?
I've never really been a birder. Not that sort anyway. But no, it was. I think it was the distinctive sound of a nightingale.
I see. Are you sure it was that?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was, and I wasn't walking in Berkeley Square either. Is there a Berkeley Square in Sheffield?
I don't know. I only know the one in Worcester.
Oh no, there's the famous one in London.
And he's dispatched of the green, but he's still on for the brown. It's not too bad. Let's see where he takes this. Is he going to take it all the way around?
Oh.
No, but at least he's... Oh, actually, he has left it on a little bit, hasn't he?
I don't know what he was trying to do there. But I'll tell you, whatever it was, he didn't do it.
But you were saying birds. Now, what's your favourite bird, would you say?
Well, I like all the English songbirds, but I suppose my favourite's the thrush.
We all like a bit of thrush. So, anyway, onto the brown. I think that might be copyrighted. You got to be careful there.
Not the way I sing it.
Oh, and he's put that away with quite some vigour.
That pocket is still moving. Oh dear. I think
Oh dear.
Bit of overconfidence on the blue, I think.
Just a bit, but he's left it quite close, so it's going to be tough to squeeze in there. Oh, I think he hit black first, though.
I think he did. It'd be nice to know what the score was, wouldn't it? Well, it's not always about the score. It's about the sport. I've always said that. Whether it's...
I think it's a grand day out, no matter who the victor is. I would say the true victor is us, the spectator.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like it's going to be him anyway.
No. Snooker's the winner, and I don't think it's the youngster today.
No, well, he's been on the tail of that first title for quite a while now, and he looks like he's going to be waiting just a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, sometimes there's just no, you can't beat experience.
That you can't. And it looks like, there's still a late chance for the junior here.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's looking for snookers at this stage.
I think, and that was poor. Oh, and he's conceding the frame. I mean, at least it's a gentleman's sport. We retain the right to be gentlemen in this sport. And what a game that was.